Last fall, I had the distinct honor of being awarded the Thomas Jefferson Award at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where I've served as a member of the faculty for 25 years. The award has been mentioned, is presented annually to that member of the academic community whose through personal influence and performance of duty in teaching, writing, and scholarship has best exemplified the ideals and objectives of Thomas Jefferson, whose, and this is an addendum, whose complex legacy, you can check out the website if you like, whose complex legacy includes the values of democracy, public service, and the pursuit of knowledge. So when I was called actually by then Chancellor Kevin Guskiewicz to give me the great news that I would be receiving this award, that I've been nominated by my colleagues to receive the award, it gave me pause to accept such an award. And I decided to go forward on two conditions. One, that I would be able to make remarks. Not everyone makes remarks. It's presented at the faculty council meeting. It's a sort of 2 to 3 minute deal, and you get your award and sit down. But I wanted to make sure that I was able to make remarks, and that my remarks would be posted on the website along with others, alongside my name, in the names of others who'd received the award. And so that was accepted without any condition, and so I was indeed very honored. I mean, it is always a matter of high esteem to be recognized by one's peers, but this award, the Thomas Jefferson Award, was very significant to me because I thought that it provides a platform for elevating what I think is among the most sacred and urgent work at UNC Chapel Hill. Reckoning with the legacies of systemic racism at the founding of the United States and our university, to find pathways toward healing, reparations, and strengthening American democracy. Thank you. I am a Black woman, the descendant of enslaved ancestors, including my second great-grandfather, Peter Walker Sr., who, according to some preliminary evidence, we're still doing the genealogy and finding archival documentation, but there is some archival evidence that my second great-grandfather served in the Union Army. That is to say, the United States Army during the Civil War. So like my second great-grandfather, I believe in fighting for Jefferson's ideals for our nation. This is the work I have pursued in my writing, my engaged scholarship, and service at UNC Chapel Hill, a global public research university. And this university is often referred to as the University of the People. And so it is through that race and reckoning work that I think our university and our nation can make real the promises of the Jeffersonian ideals of democracy for all and the assurances of human rights and dignity for all. Thomas Jefferson was a revolutionary thinker and writer and public servant who envisioned the ideals of a true democracy. He had the opportunity during his time to engage with race and reckoning work. But he chose to leave it as unfinished business for future generations to pursue. So in many ways, intentionally or not, Thomas Jefferson left the republic he helped create with a clarion call to us to continue the revolution that he helped start to continue the revolution toward freedom for all, I think we have an obligation to answer that call. So again, thank you. Receiving this invitation in my inbox, did I mention it was Thursday? It felt like a calling and not an invitation. So I am here because I'm dutiful to my ancestors and to those future generations. I hope I am being a good ancestor. So, thank you. So we must continue that unfinished work of the promise of democracy for all Americans. In preparation for my remarks on receiving the Jefferson Award, I toured Monticello, where Jefferson lived, and I hope that you probably have been there many times, and they're doing a lot of that wonderful reckoning work there as well, and also at the University of Virginia. But I wanted to be there. I was there a couple of weeks before I received the award. And so I toured that place where Jefferson enslaved over 400 black women, men, and children throughout his life there. And it is there where he lived with Sally Hemings, an enslaved girl who became the mother of four of his children. She actually had 6, only 4 survived to adulthood, whom he also enslaved. The interpreter who was leading the tour at Monticello referred to what they are calling a paradox of liberty to describe some of Jefferson's life choices. A paradox of liberty is the way they frame his life choices. The man who was the author of the Declaration of Independence, the foundation of our cherished democracy, ensuring life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, could not see the enslaved people at Monticello, nor native peoples or indentured servants and women in that vision of democracy. But I hardly think that this seemed paradoxical to the people of Virginia at that time or other slaveholding states who held firmly to the racist ideas of chattel slavery being used to keep cheap labor in place, enriching themselves and shoring up the fledgling republic. It probably seemed simple, straightforward, and perhaps even morally right to some. Nor did Jefferson's choices likely seem paradoxical to the men, women, and children who were enslaved and the throngs of abolitionists who were fighting that evil system of violence against humanity. We hold these truths to be self-evident. The wrongness of that system was self-evident. No, I don't think Thomas Jefferson's life choices were paradoxical at all. Historians have documented his racism, his belief in the segregation of races, his dehumanizing beliefs that black people, the people that Jefferson enslaved, were not human. The people Jefferson enslaved were auctioned on his lawn to pay his debts after his death, separating families, likely sending some to violent deaths in some of the harshest labor camp conditions in the South. It is unfortunate that Jefferson did not believe that all people are created equal. However, I agree with the historian Annette Gordon-Reed, the Pulitzer Prize-nominated historian and noted Jeffersonian scholar who argues that Jefferson's personal belief in equality for all is not a necessary condition for living up to the ideals of democracy that he penned and wanted for himself. This is the way she put it. Given the criticism that Jefferson regularly receives today for not being more forceful on the question of slavery, and for being somewhat too forceful and wrong on the question of race, it is useful to remember that in his time, Jefferson had the reputation of being a dangerous social radical. She goes on to say, one can easily see that putting the words, all men are created equal, quote unquote, into the public discourse would be frightening, even if one doubted, as many do today, Jefferson's sincerity. What was perceived then and should be considered now is that whether he believed to the extent that we would wish him to is relatively unimportant. The more critical point has always been how much others would take his words to heart. So in short, we in this gathering, in this place, and those who are listening online and others who may read these or listen to these words at other times, we are the ones who must believe in our democracy. It is up to each generation to take Jefferson's words to heart and get closer to those ideals.